Yes, everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's match day. In a bit, obviously. How's it going? Are you all right? United obviously playing Betis a little bit later on, but before we do that, we're going to talk about what's happening with Osimhen. Osimhen, however you want to say it. Did you all see the scenes from Naples? Right, Naples, one of, what did you say, top 10, top 15 most beautiful cities in the world, full of absolute lunatics. Every team that goes there, it goes off, doesn't it? And with Frankfurt this week, it was no different. Passionate football city is what they will say on one hand. Absolute mentalists, I think, is the truth. We're going to talk about the England team as well. Jesus. But we'll talk about Osimhen first. So, let's talk about Osimhen. And what is the quote from a recent interview? I don't know what the future holds. At the end of the season, I'll sit down with my agents and discuss. I'll also be in talks with Napoli. I'm extremely grateful to Napoli. We'll find a good solution together. Does he want to stay at Napoli? Does he have to say that? He also said his idol is Drogba. Does that affect things? Does he see himself in a Chelsea shirt? Because Chelsea need a striker. And what we've seen in the last two windows, Todd Boehly knows where the checkbook is, doesn't he? Like, if Todd Boehly's like, oh, he likes Chelsea, does he? Let's get him. I think they'd get him, in all honesty. And I also saw Manchester City was in for Osimhen, and you're like, what? Why? Why would you? Honestly, if he goes there, go there, because someone's not going to be playing anywhere near as much as they should be, should they? You're talking somewhere in the region of 80 to 90 million pounds. Sam's just commented there, is AFCON something to worry about? I think no, in all honesty. Has AFCON been a thing for Mo Salah? I disagree. It has. If you think he has, I don't think it has. I wouldn't have any qualms with it at all, in all honesty with you. So, no, it wouldn't be something I feel would be a problem. Could Osimhen go to Chelsea? Could that be a problem? Yeah, I think it probably could be, in all honesty. I don't know at what point FFP, if we're pretending that that's a real thing, kicks in. But, yes, I would be concerned if we were going up against Chelsea in this scenario. Jude Bellingham has been in the news again. United apparently ready to join the race for Jude Bellingham. I think he'd be sensational buy for Manchester United. Ten Hag is a huge fan. Thinks he could be a future captain. Don't disagree. Talks for Jude in regards to his future are intensifying, and one source says everything is open, but you're looking at somewhere in the region of £110 million to bring Jude Bellingham to Old Trafford. That it was so much talk that he was a Liverpool fan. He's out here liking tweets and this, that, and the other. He's liking tweets of international teammates. I don't think it's that deep in the grand scheme of things. And footballers are professionals. There's been plenty of Liverpool fans play for United in the past and be excellent for us. I think footballers see it different to the way we see it. And that's a hard barrier for a lot of people to wrap their heads around, but they do see it different to us. I think Jude Bellingham, if he signed for United, would be absolutely ridiculously good. And I'd have zero qualms. Even if he was like, yeah, I am a Liverpool fan, I'd have zero qualms in signing him, because I think as a professional, he would want to do his best. And knowing what it's like when you play against someone that you support, you play harder, in my opinion. I think you do. Brian says, United and Chelsea definitely likely destinations, both desperate for a striker. Hopefully the draw of United will swing it for us. You would hope the draw of the Champions League might be the differential between ourselves and Chelsea this summer coming, because that could be a thing. And that might be a differential when it comes to United and Liverpool at the moment. BT seems to be very heavy on what's going on with Bellingham and can Liverpool attract? And that was a bit of the topic of conversation after the Real Madrid game last night. I just think it's worth looking at. Like, if United could keep hold of Sabitzer, you've got Bruno, Casemiro, Eriksen, Sabitzer, Jude Bellingham. You've got Fred or McTominay potentially as a backup. I like that. Now, United have got the small thing of figuring out who our owners are going to be in the next couple of months to sort out prior to anything happening in the summer at all. But I'm mildly confident something will happen in terms of ownership that won't be the Glazers. Is that going to be a positive in every ethical sense? Not necessarily. But I didn't want the Glazers. I protested against the Glazers 18 years ago for all the good that did. So if we're going to get owners in, I might as well enjoy the ride with them if they're going to blow a load of cash on us. So yeah, it would be expensive, and I think if you're going to bring Bellingham in, he has to be secondary to a striker, and a striker is going to be in the 70, 80, 90, 100 million pound bracket, I would assume. So you're looking at 200 million just across those two transfers. Now, for Manchester United, I don't think that's a problem. It shouldn't be a problem with the amount of money that the club generates, but you got to be aware that that is going to be a little bit on the spendy side. I don't know if you can see the reflection in. Yeah, you might just be able to see the reflection there. I've had Sky Sports News on, watching Gareth Southgate try and justify his absolute ridiculous selection. And honestly, I don't get it. Like, you've got Kyle Walker out in here getting his chopper out in bars. That's all right, apparently. You've got Ivan Toney can go and bet on all sorts of stuff. That's all right, apparently. Not a drama there. You've got Calvin Phillips, who's literally started no Premier League or Champions League games this season. You've got Tomori, who's out here first choice for an AC Milan team, just doing all right in Italy. You've got James Ward-Prowse, who's probably one of the better midfielders, certainly one of the better, if not the best English midfielder in the Prem this season. I don't get it. Ben White, as much as I can banter what's going on with Arsenal, you can't tell me Ben White's having a poor season. Certainly when you think about some of the people that I've gotten a call up. Mason Mount, Phillips, Harry Maguire. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And then, Jordan Henderson, Conor Gallagher, there's all these players that you can go, I don't even know if you should be getting a call up yourself, to be honest. Absolutely bonkers. What is the selection criteria of Gareth Southgate? Does anyone know? Does anybody know what the criteria of Gareth Southgate's? Because he said it was going to be about form, not reputation. Yeah, that's gone out the window. We saw in the World Cup, he picked Raheem Sterling, who'd been at home in the build-up to the France game, ahead of the likes of Marcus Rashford. Knight says, Lewis Dunk, Ben Mee, Ben White, Tomori, all ignored instead of Maguire. Bang on. Lewis Dunk, honestly, is such a better defender than Maguire. Honestly. You're half expecting to see fucking Tarkowski in there. Or Mings. That's the level of some of the inclusions that you see in here from Gareth Southgate. It's absolutely mental, honestly. Lee says, there's having favourites and there's continuously picking Harry Maguire. I don't get it. I don't get it. I do not get it. I can't find a single thing that makes logical sense why a very, very qualified man is continually picking the likes of Harry Maguire when he's got other options. Rob Halliday says the Sterling decision was absolutely a joke. Oh, ridiculous. Colwill, Knights, bang on. Yes, Colwill. Like, you can get away with the argument that there's not enough time to really get to know some players, but we're so far away from a tournament at the moment. And here's the thing, right? England will win 90% of our qualifying matches. They just will, right? England will win 90% of qualifying matches without even blinking. That's how straightforward qualification is for England, right? And the Nations League, a little bit trickier sometimes because you're a bit better match. You haven't got the likes of Malta and San Marino and Moldova in your group. But they still win a large percentage of those games. And those are the games that you want to be trying your actual tournament tactics in. For the most part, qualification is an absolute gimme. It's a free hit. It's not even close to being difficult to qualify for a major tournament for the likes of England. Yet, they will still try and pick what they consider the very strongest team and then say, oh, we didn't have any opportunities to try any of these new players, likes of Colwill or Tomori, that are absolutely potential 10-year starlets for England because you've got no fucking backbone and no bollocks about you. Absolute disgrace. Absolute disgrace. How does he... Oh, disgrace. Banboy says, need to hear you talk about Jude. Think he's the perfect player for what we need as an 8 and there's plenty of room for development. I think he's mega. Momo says, don't tell me Maguire's been picked. I'm telling you Maguire's been picked. It's right there on the screen. Right there. Right? Mr. Miracle, Chris Smalling and Tomori is a pretty interesting proposition. If England want to play out from the back, Chris Smalling's not the guy for that. But in terms of pure one-to-one defending, Chris Smalling is infinitely better as a defender, just as a pure defender, than Harry Maguire is. Brian says, pointless calling up Ivan Toney because he's not going to play him anyway. Yep. Notch says, I'd banter, but Italy need to qualify for the Euros. Has Sancho been picked? Sancho's not been picked. And I'd love to know the excuse for not picking Sancho, yet you are picking Calvin Phillips. And it's not like you go, oh, well, he had no one else in midfield he could select. No, he did. James Ward-Prowse could have been picked, and you just didn't pick him. You decided to choose Calvin Phillips, who literally hasn't started a single game. Mental. Sigurd says, if the choice is between Vlahovic, Osimhen, which would I prefer? I would take either of them, in all honesty. Abhinav says, has Rashford been picked? Yes. Red says, he picked Calvin Phillips. He picked Calvin Phillips. He did. I'll go through the entire squad then, because it seems like people aren't aware of... I thought everyone would be aware of who's been signed or who's been picked. Jordan Pickford, Nick Pope, Aaron Ramsdale. That's your keepers. No one's upset about that, I don't think. Maybe Dean Henderson, but he's a fucking widge, so whatever. Then you've got defenders. Chilwell. Certainly not having the greatest of seasons, but okay. Dyer, ditto, not having the greatest of seasons, but he plays. Mark Gueye, I think he's got a bit of potential about him, and he's on an okay season, I would say. He's not a standout. Reece James, recently come back into fitness, not quite yet into form, but I get it, so fine. Harry Maguire, doesn't play, ridiculous. Luke Shaw, fine, he should be in there, of course. John Stones, in my opinion, John Stones, I can't remember what level he's played this year, because I know City have been playing a lot of Aki. I think Stones might have been the one that's been playing, because I know Diaz isn't playing. I know it's all over the gaff. Oh yeah, Stones is starting pretty regular by the looks of this. So yeah, all right, Stones fine. Kieran Trippier, of course, probably the most informed defender. Actually, comfortably the most informed defender out of all of them selected. Fine. Kyle Walker, currently under investigation for getting his chopper out. Fine, apparently. Jude Bellingham, fine. One of the most informed players in Europe, that's fine. Conor Gallagher, last year, made loads of sense because he was rassing it up at Crystal Palace. This year, meh. A real poor decision for selecting him, I think. Jordan Henderson, all right. Why, though? I mean, he's not been great for Liverpool this season. Rarely has he ever been great in an England shirt. He's 32. Is this someone that you're going to build around what you're doing going forward? Doesn't even start every single game for Liverpool at the moment. He's come off the bench as much as he's started. What is the point in selecting Jordan Henderson? James Maddison, I mean, not having a great season, but fine. Mason Mount, why? Not having a good season at all. Calvin Phillips, might as well have not even had a season. And Declan Rice, not having a great season, but does at least play every week, unlike half of the rest of that midfield. At least half of the rest of that midfield. Forwards, look, Foden and Grealish are, I think, being rested and rotated in and out a little bit, but you can't say neither of them should be selected, so fine. Harry Kane, of course, fine. Rashford, Saka, fine. Ivan Toney should have been in at the World Cup, but wasn't because of the betting stuff, which now has been charged with and he's pleading guilty to, and now he gets to be selected. Make that make sense. I don't fucking get it. I don't get what goes on with Gareth Southgate at all. What the hell? First name, last name says centre-back choices are baffling. Do you know what I mean? Adnan says, seems like it'd be Qatar getting United. Bad Boys says, honestly, take a look at my thread. It shows why Jude has a very big chance of playing for United. Tweet me the thread. Let's have a look at it. Adrian says, what do I think of Messi going back to Barcelona? That could be the final nail in the coffin of FC Barcelona because of the financial difficulties they're in. They're going to pay him like 150 million a year to come and play for him when they've got less than no money. Amaya says, funnily enough, he didn't pick Trent. I'd love to know his justification, though, because his justification for not picking Trent will be logically sound, but then when you apply it to any of the other selections that he's made in the squad, you go, well, what about this guy? I don't get him. And yeah, could you make a case for Wan-Bissaka to be included? I think you probably could, in all honesty, yeah. Joke. Absolute joke. At least he didn't pick Trent, says Brian. Wan-Bissaka deserved it 10 times more than Maguire. See, that's the thing, yeah? So do I think what Aaron Wan-Bissaka not going is an absolute tragedy? No, I think it's it could have gone either way, right? But when Maguire goes, you go, oh, right, yeah, that's a fucking joke. No, yeah, take Wan-Bissaka. Are you mad? Oh, Sure. Shrujal says, I think the manager sees the players more closely than us. Maybe it's a personal thing. That's fine. I got questions about why you call Tony up, though, for the Nations League, then play Harry Kane, who you surely know all about, and then can't take Ivan Tony to the World Cup. You go, well, I haven't seen him play. You called him up and didn't play him. Fucking witch. This is why you didn't know what he was like playing. You didn't play him. It's like ordering some food, letting it sit there and go, I don't know what that tastes like, so I'm not going to eat it. Taste it. Never know. Lee says, Roy Hodgson took Jack Wilshere to Euro 2016 after playing one game the previous season. Picking unfit midfielders seems to be done by osmosis at St George's Park. Notch says, I'd rather Marcus had a 2-week rest. I'd rather he had a little bit of a knock as well, to be honest with you. Rob says, Trent was so bad last night. How didn't he not put him on his back when we played the Scousers? Because we put Bruno up against him, who's not going to run in behind him. That's exactly what happened. Ben says, Steve, at least you can follow the island instead of England in the upcoming games as a tip man. All right, yeah. My grandparents were both born in England, but 2 Irish parents. But I don't consider myself Irish. I also don't consider myself someone who follows the England national team either. So I am a bit of a national team nomad. I'm hoping to be doing a course, or courses, with the Welsh FA very soon, though. So maybe I'll pick up a little bit of love for the Welsh FA. Can't accuse me of glory supporting, because they're shit. But I do like how the Welsh get behind the team, so maybe we'll see how that rolls. Hodgie says, let's be honest, the only reason Southgate is in the job is because he gave someone, I think that's allegedly, I don't think we can say that. Knight says, Jonathan David and Bellingham or Osimhen and a cheaper number 8. I'd go with David and Bellingham. I'd love that, to be honest. How many seconds do I reckon Gareth's going to give Marcus at the next tournament? Not sure. Sion says, get that Wales shirt back on, follow our attempt at a rebuild. And Amaya says, don't identify as a sheepshagger. Yeah, I think Wales are going to struggle, in all honesty. That golden generation that they had, Bale, Ramsey, Neil Taylor, Ash Williams, Chris Gunter, part of that, recently retired, Joe Allen, Hennessy, that was a pretty solid Wales team. Probably did better than expected. Where they go from here now with pretty much all of those. Has Ramsey retired yet? That's going to be a tough one, I think, for them to sort of catch up on that one. Abhinav says, Steve, follow Senegal. Loved how they danced. I had a fucking brilliant time. If y'all haven't seen it, go and check out my World Cup vlogs. I was just getting into the habit of wherever I was sat was boring, and I would just go and try and find which looked like the most entertaining part of the ground to be in. I had a really good time with the North Korea fans. Whoa, South Korea fans. Jesus. I don't think anyone's had a good time with the North Korea fans. And then Senegal. I loved it. Senegal was having a fucking right good laugh, and I got right in the mix with them. Would I approve Neymar to United? No. Excellent player. Don't like his attitude. Snow says, imagine if we got a serious manager, what we would win with the players we have. I think he's talking about England now, not United, thankfully. Is Morrissey going to play shows in Manchester? I believe the readers are supporting him, yes. How many years can Casemiro give us? 3 more after this one, I would think. Probably do that. Raphael says Marcus Edwards should be in the England squad, in my opinion. Miko says, when's the show with me and Ash coming out? Don't know. It was meant to record one today and we didn't. There's other stuff at play with Ash, so that kind of took precedent over filming the podcast with him today. But stay tuned, because it's very exciting, and I'm very positive if you've got a youngster that plays football in the Manchester area. Probably figure out what it is. Red says, can't wait for Maguire to pull in a 6 out of 10 performance for England, and then the press start asking Ten Hag for the rest of the season why he isn't starting him. Yeah, that's going to happen, isn't it? Paul says, Lukaku's going back to Chelsea. Inter aren't even playing him anymore. But then he won't play though, will he? What do I reckon about Varela from Boca Juniors? They say Casemiro regen. I'm pretty sure we are doing a scout report on him. Ronaldo is currently in Dubai, so once he gets back from Dubai, we'll have a look at it. Boru says, don't forget we'll probably have Hannibal and Diallo in the squad next season. That's a good point. Amaya says Jones is injured, otherwise he'd have got the call up. I don't think he's injured. There's yeah, he's not injured, I don't think. Lawrence says, Pep involved with 2 corrupt clubs and is compared with Sir Alex. Make it make sense, please. Well, you would have to say, as a player, Pep Guardiola was charged with and banned for using Nandrolone. Then he was cleared, but he was cleared on a technicality of a ruling that came in following his ban being up. About 5 or 6 years, if I remember rightly, after he'd already served his ban. And the technical thing that came in was about how samples were stored and that sort of stuff. And there was stability tests that could not be performed correctly. So on a technicality, he had his ruling overruled because they couldn't perform a stability test on a test as old as his was. Now, the false readings that a test can give when it gets unstable is somewhere in the region of like 0.01. And he was like 10 times over that anyway. So that's very interesting, I would say. And then he hired that doctor who allowed him to fail that test when he was manager of Barcelona. And Barcelona are currently under investigation for not just while Pep was there, but a period that spans both before and after Pep was there as manager, under investigation for paying referees substantial amount of money, millions of pounds worth of money to the president or vice president of the Referees Association, which Real Madrid are kicking off like bananas about. And now you've got Manchester City under investigation for more than 100 breaches of financial irregularities. This is, people say Pep's had it all his own way. He might have had it more his own way than people think. Interesting is all I would say. Dondre says, I'd love to join your team, but I live in Barbados. That's a hell of a commute to training, my friend. Alex says, need a modern centre-back to rotate with Varane, hopefully rid of the Maguire and Lindelof. I wonder where the likes of Mengi could fit, or, you know, Deschamps Bernard, or, you know, is it too late for Tuanzebe? I fear it probably is. You know, is there someone else in that mix? Personally, big fan of Levi Colwill, who didn't get a call up for England today, which shows that Gareth Southgate doesn't have a fucking clue what he's looking at, because he was great last season and he's been great this season as well. And you look at how they play, phenomenal. That's the top and bottom of it, absolutely phenomenal. Do I think Phil Jones is classified as working from home? Yeah. Damien says, if we replace De Gea in the summer, who would I like to see? I think Diogo Costa is probably top of my list at the moment. Malp says City should have been suspended long before now. Stephen, would United have money to buy Mbappe? Why? Why would you buy Mbappe? Being deadly serious, why would you buy Mbappe? With all of the baggage that comes with Mbappe, I would not want Mbappe. Hodges says, wonder if we end up going back in for Timber to rotate in with Varane. Wouldn't be a bad option. Who's my preferred youngster at United besides Garnacho? I'd like to see Zidane do something. Think he's a very talented kid. Charlie Savage is doing a madness that I thought Charlie Savage was going to be too small for, but killing it at the moment. I think he scored a banger at the weekend. Amaya says Mengi and Tuanzebe kind of similar. Would I say no? Both lightning quick. Tuanzebe perhaps the most naturally gifted defender I've ever seen in terms of like defensive positioning and instinct. Mengi a little bit more aggressive. I mean, Tuanzebe was quite at it, but I think Mengi very, very aggressive, very physical sort of defender. More in the Vidic mold, I would say, where I think that you're probably seeing a little bit more refinery out of Axel, a little bit more anyway. What do I think Palestri's potential or ceiling is? Honestly, I don't know. When I first saw him, wasn't impressed. He's gone out on loan. He's played a lot since he's come back. He looks a lot better, and he looks like he's a lot more direct. And him and Garnacho being direct is like the biggest asset that they've both got. Brian says gutted for Garnacho with his injury, but gives Palestri a chance to be to come into the first team and show what he can do. Agree. Thoughts on similar style of players to sign if we don't get Frankie? I'd say Ruben Neves. Ruben Neves could be a good one. I mean, I think Wolves are probably going to stay up, I would imagine. I'd be shocked if they do go down. But if they go down, you're going in and you're offering him an embarrassingly low amount to get Neves on the cheap, I think. Giblick says people clearly don't understand what baggage means and how it would destroy the squad. We end up with a Ronaldo 2.0 situation. Hell no, keep Mbappe away from United. What happened to my Zidane video that was removed? Ronaldo got it wrong. I said I wanted to do a video looking at Zidane, and I meant let's start doing the research and maybe put a video out like next week or something. Ronaldo thought I wanted to do it live yesterday, and I was like, I haven't done the research. And I don't know about you lot. I like to do a little bit of research before I start bumping my gums about stuff. Before I look like a dick. So I haven't done the research on that yet. I probably will still do that video, but it wasn't meant to be a live. It wasn't a live news. It was meant to be a video that we do the research for and then film, edit, and then post rather than just going live on yesterday. Would I be able to come on trials if I was back in England? Yes. Look, anyone can come on trial for Paddock. We're an amateur football club. We've got 3 teams, 21s, reserves, and first team. Next year, we may have somewhere in the region of 30, 40 teams, under 6 to under 16, 18s, 21s, reserve, development, first team. That's what I'm working on at the moment. So we will be a full stack football club. So all the people that are in my DMs, I've got an 8-year-old, can I bring him down? I've got a 5-year-old, can I bring him down? And the answer right now is no. That answer might change in the summer. Giblick says, having the best player in the world is pointless if the whole team is worse as a whole. Correct. Brian says, any players currently in the Championship I could see moving up to the Premier League? Do you know what? I haven't watched a lot of Championship this year. I normally do get my eye on the Championship because there's always someone in there. At the moment, I haven't seen too much on it. I'm still applying for the coach role, Steve. Listen, for the last few weeks, if you've seen me posting on my Instagram saying there's bigger things coming, we need more coaches, I've just fucking told you why, essentially. How's the app coming on? That's going to be in next week's video, so stay tuned for that on Paddock FC. Alex says Gravenberg might be a shout. Ten Hag might be able to unlock that previous form. That's not a bad shout. Which other trophy do United have a better chance of winning this season? I think we're in for the Europa, you know. But it's so long to win. Obviously, every round is two matches rather than one like the FA Cup. But I think we could still. Do I see Osimhen, Frimpong and Kudus coming to give Bruno a break without a drop-off in quality? That'd be a hell of a summer, yeah. Jordan says, so happy we eliminated Barca given their referee scandal. Yes. Thoughts on when we might start integrating Mainu? In about 4.5 hours. Michael says, since Southampton are likely to go down, would I take Lever or Bella? I would take Ward-Prowse. I really would. I think he's excellent. I don't understand why he's not in England team. Does anyone know? Does anyone have any idea why he's not in England team? Anyone? Pedro says, in Brazil, a Uruguayan is called Arrascaeta. A Uruguayan called Arrascaeta plays and would fit like a glove in the United team. Oh, interesting. Might have a look at him then. Do we need to be in fear of Haaland? Look, he's in an excellent team that creates a lot of chances and he knows where the back of the net is. Maybe. I mean, we train literally in the shadow of the Etihad, 150 metres, 200 metres away from the Etihad? That's how close we train. On Tuesday night, we was training there. Our training finished at 10 o'clock. We were literally hearing all the cheers of every single goal going in and hearing all the Berties booing the UEFA anthem. Fucking saddos. Big Ting says, what do I think about Ishmael Cohn from Watford? Yeah, he is a good player, yeah. Santa Notch says Ward Prowse doesn't play for a fashionable enough club. That's why. Yeah, it's the same reason that Colwell's not been getting selected, or any of the lads that have been doing phenomenally well at both Fulham and at Brighton and not getting a look. Paul Gray says because Southgate's a knob, and maybe that's the top and bottom of it at the end of the day. Craig says I'm watching from a hotel around the corner. Can I come and say hi? Probably not, because I'm going home after this to get ready for the match. But you can come any other day. How do I rate Hugill? Hugill's not really benefited from the same sort of attention that McNeil's been getting, but there's not a lot between them. I don't think there's a lot between them at all. Sky reporting that Qataris have arrived at Carrington now. I did see that, but I don't have any info on that, so I'm just going to see what happens from that. I'm sure things will be getting leaked very, very soon. But yeah, as everyone should be aware, kickoff tonight is at 5:45. It's not 8 o'clock as usual. So yeah, actually, I got that wrong, didn't I, with the timing? So it's going to be in the next 3 hours, 4 hours, 2 hours. Maths, how's that work? Scott says Charlie McNeil needs a goal at Newport. Yep. Jordan says Kim Min-jae would be a great backup for Varane. Who wants to hear a little story? Joe Kim Min-jae was linked to United during the World Cup. That might have been because of me. In fact, it was because of me. And it was an accident. There was no basis in it whatsoever. But what's funny is his agents have been talking about it since. So yeah, 2 hours, 20 minutes till kick off. There you go. How does Maguire get selected for England? Fuck knows. With the club being sold, what does it mean for transfers? Fuck knows. When is the video of me and Ash going on YouTube? Fuck knows. Like I said, we were meant to record something today and we didn't. So, you know, it's one of those, isn't it? Ben says, Steam only just starting the stream. Sterling is a United fan, yet played for our two biggest rivals. Arguably three. You know, Chelsea, Liverpool, City. He's almost done the James Milner quartet if he'd have thrown a Leeds in the mix as well. Have a look at Ryan Giles at Borough. If you're looking to the Championship, on loan from Wolves, similar profile to Trent. Oh, I'll fucking pass on that then. Knight says, so you're saying you could be the reason that all your scouted players get found by Dortmund too? No, I'm saying that the talk that you saw in the World Cup, at least initially, on the day of the Uruguay South Korea game, if you go back and have a look there was reports that came out on that day. They were not true. Is all I'll say on that one. Any special guests on the brew tomorrow? No idea. Although the Slow Readers are playing in town tomorrow night. Give us a shout if you're going. I'm going to wrap it up there. Cheers for tuning in. Let's hope that United can do the business tonight with the minimal of fuss. Look ahead then to the Fulham game at the weekend. But cheers for tuning in. I'll be live after the game. So come and join us. See you in a bit. Laters.